I just finished reading this book and I have many, many thoughts. This is a book full of life lessons, experiments, and adventures, as you'd guess. But my eyes obviously fell on that part of his journey where he goes from a painfully shy person to somebody who's known for his voice worldwide. Today, when we think about him, the image that comes to mind is of a person who was a charismatic leader, an excellent public speaker, and somebody who had it all figured out. Well, that was not his start. Like most of us, he was full of stage fright. He did not have the confidence to express himself clearly for most of his early life. Yet, he managed to come out of it and began on the path of self-discovery. There's just 2 points that I've plugged from the entire story that will help you find your style of speaking, and you'd know the answer to the question, what it really takes to become an excellent communicator. So the story starts when he landed in England. So when he first got to England, that was his opportunity to build a career in law, but he was faced with a dual challenge of not just building a career in law, but also becoming a fluent speaker of English in order to survive in that environment. Now, English being a foreign language always made him nervous. There are several incidences that is described in the book where he prepared his speech a lot in advance, rehearsed hard, but he backed off at the very last moment because he lost the confidence. Well, I know it's happened to most of us. There have been conversations where we feel embarrassed, where you might have embarrassed yourself. And when it happens once, you might think it's a chance thing. It happened by chance. When it happens twice successively, it also feels like it's a chance thing. But when it keeps happening, again and again, repeatedly, that is a point when we start to question our worth, our talent, our caliber. And that is exactly what happened to this man. He felt embarrassed in several conversations at several occasions, and that made him feel like an incompetent person. He lived with that feeling, but the thing that he did differently than most of us was not changing to change. He always accepted change. He was always ready to meet new people, become part of new groups and communities. He even attended most of the meetings, but he could not speak at most of them. Whenever he had a strong opinion that he wanted to voice out and he couldn't do that, he'd put it into writing, but he did express himself. What we tend to do mostly is we lock ourselves into an echo chamber where we keep hearing the same conversations on repeat. And if somebody makes you nervous in a conversation and you talk to them very often, you might start thinking of yourself as a nervous speaker, which in fact is not true. Opening up to new conversations, to new environments, to new speakers will let you understand that you're not as bad as you think. And that is exactly what Gandhi followed, and things were about to change for him. This time when he went to South Africa, at first he was the same underconfident person. But he gradually started engaging with the Indian community there. He started speaking to them before giving them a talk. And with months passing, he finally understood that his true power lied in being a persuader. He was a master persuader. That was his real speaking style. Had he given up on himself because of those several bad conversations, he would never get to this point of self-discovery, finding his own style, which then made conversations a lot easier for him, and he never changed that approach. He tried persuading people. He almost forced people to come to the table and have a discussion and to come to an agreement. He was a true people's person. Now, understanding your personality in a conversation is truly important, because otherwise you'd feel like a stranger talking to somebody. You feel like, I don't know myself. When you hear your voice, you'd be scared. But that doesn't come so easy for everybody. You could be a highly agreeable person who likes to listen to people, who likes to be caring in a conversation, ask a lot of questions. Or you could be good at accepting that care, answering those questions. You could be somebody who is forceful with their thoughts. They believe what they believe firmly, and they like to put it out. Or you could be somebody who is more understanding and likes to form their opinion based on the discussion after listening to people. All of these are separate personality types, and these are all equally good if done right. So finding your own style of speaking is the key to becoming an excellent communicator. And this is the question that I said Learners take years to find. It is not really about the core skills. That is something that you have to do to cross that level, but it is only applicable up to a point where you know how to converse. When you're trying to become a standout speaker, that is when you have to find out your true personality at speaking. Are you a good negotiator? Are you a good persuader? Are you good at listening? Are you good at asking questions? Somebody who can bring agreement? Any of these personalities can make you a standout speaker. Only you have to find your authentic style and use the same approach in your conversations. Well, I have a short challenge for you which will set you on the path of discovering your real speaker's personality. It is a 7-day challenge which entails listening to debates every single day, watching the news, watching movies if that's part of your interest, or songs. Now, I want you to start having an opinion on everything. I want you to ask yourself the question, where am I leaning? Am I leaning more toward the center ground? Am I leaning more toward any one side of the debate? What opinions do I have about this news item? My opinion should not exactly be painted by somebody else's opinions. Do I like to ask more questions? Am I expressive enough to be in a conversation where people are chatty? Do I answer questions better? And in the last 3 days, you can get into a conversation with 3 different people. They could be your friends, co-learners, or tutors. This will not only help you find your authentic style of speaking, but also give you an inner confidence that is unbreakable and permanent because you finally know who you actually are as a speaker and what you believe in. Well, that's it for the video. I'm really happy I recorded it, and I'm sure you'll see the results within those 7 days of following the challenge. I'll see you in the next one.